Another big issue that I've seen people run into is houses in general, and I'm going somewhere with this. Houses in
Sure.
general have looked the same for at least 100 years, pretty much everywhere. Houses have just kind of looked the same. And then, what I realized from what I've been witnessing lately is when a developer comes in, or not even a developer, just a person who wants to build their own house, and they hire an architect to design it, and they come up with a very modern looking design,
Mhm.
that looks nothing like any of the other houses in the neighborhood. Oftentimes they're shut down because,
Mhm.
uh,
It
part
doesn't
of,
conform.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's a huge part of the approval process,
Yeah. That
for
is made
us. And
possible by sequel.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And CEQA, the general plan, and any specific plan that they might fall under. But yeah, it
Yeah.
it if it doesn't conform, it's likely to get denied. And so
Yeah,
it
but the thing is
creates
that
this.
conformity, right, is
Mhm.
you, it's hard to be objective, right? Like the notion of conformity, it should be objective, right? It should just be like, hey, if it doesn't, like, kill you, you know, um, and doesn't really hurt anybody, um, hey, it's your money, right? You
Yeah.
if you want to build an ugly project, go for it, right? But that's on you. That's not what I'm advocating for, by the way. But um, you know, the the whole notion that, like, we are going to tell you um, how your project should look like aesthetically, that's not an objective standard, you know.
Yeah.
So people don't want to take the risks, or they're too afraid to take the risks, if because if the moment that they do, you know like you said, it can be shut down. It likely will get shut down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it creates this weird chain reaction to where if this keeps going, houses are going to just look the same for another 300 years, if it keeps going like this. Um,
Yeah.
but an interesting thing about conformity is everyone looks at, does it conform? They look at it to what's surrounding it, but no one ever kind of thinks of, like, oh, does this conform to what this neighborhood, what we want it to look like in 30 years? Or it could be
Right.
neighborhood, or it could be a shopping center, or it could be anything. I mean, in Milpitas, we actually did have some of that forward thinking on Main Street. Um,
Mhm.
a developer came to us and they wanted an amendment on a setback rule so they could have their storefront directly on the sidewalk instead of a parking lot
Right.
or a couple spaces in front of it. And we were just like, this is the future of what Main Street is going to look like. Yeah, we'll give you the amendment,
Right.
because this is kind of what we want to move forward. And you don't often see that kind of forward thinking in
Right.
government. A lot of government and even planning is like, what's happening right now, and what are the fires we need to put out, and what happened yesterday that we still need to deal with. It's not
Right.
often that you think about tomorrow, next year, next 10 years. And it would be really nice to see a little bit more forward thinking.